Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing great. My name is David Gutman. I help companies build awesome engineering teams. I've also written some JavaScript books. I host a podcast called Junior to Senior, and more relevant to this talk, I host an event in LA called js.la. Want to know any more about that? Here's my website. But now we're going to go back in time to March 11th, 2020. So js.la is on the last Thursday of every month, so that would be about 2 weeks from March 11th. At this point in time, I've got two awesome speakers lined up, two sponsors, a great host. There's over 100 people on the RSVP list. Everything is going great, except you probably know where I'm going with this. One small little problem. South Korea not doing super well, neither is Iran or Italy. At this point in time, though, the US has fewer than 1,000 reported cases, which puts it somewhere between Germany and the Diamond Princess cruise ship. Within the US, many states have 0 reported cases. California, even with its tens of millions of people, has somewhere between 1 and 200. At this point in time, I'm not really sure if it makes sense to cancel js.la. Not many people really have this. Is it even in the US? Is this even something to worry about? Now, on this day though, I'm starting to get the sense that yes, this is a big deal. Biden and Sanders cancel their primary election night rallies. Their next debate is not going to have an audience. And also Coachella was postponed. So is it really responsible of me to have 100 or so people get together in the same room for a few hours? And ultimately, I made the tough decision to cancel the event. This was a huge bummer. I was looking forward to the event, as were a lot of other people. Calling people up, sponsors, other people to cancel was not fun. I was pretty bummed. And part of this is because js.la has a mission, and if we are not, if we're canceled, we can't do that. js.la's mission is to inspire and connect the tech community in LA. So 2 parts. One is conning speakers into giving awesome talks. Here we are at Google, about 250 people. We have amazing speakers sometimes like Ryan Dahl, creator of Node.js, and here is even the legendary Carter Rabassa, who has graced our stage at one point in time. Now, those awesome talks are really the foundation for the other part, the connections. Here's our holiday party, JS Soiree, and here's just what a normal js.la looks like. A lot of people catching up, talking about what they're working on, meeting with friends, forming new friendships, work relationships. This is really the structure of js.la's community. So that connection part is really important. And what we try and do is really have a national level conference experience, but do it every month and for free. That's certainly a tall bar, but a lot of people think that we do a pretty good job in meeting it, which is great. So the Inspire, the Connect, those are really difficult to do if we're canceled. Of course, this begs the question, and a lot of people asked and responded to this email, hey, what about going online? Have you considered going virtual? And of course I did. But the truth is, I was a little bit nervous. Can we provide the same level of experience by taking our in-person event and going online? Would it just be a bad imitation? Would it just be better to not hold it at all? And so after thinking about it for a while, I decided that we had to try. So how were we going to take those 2 parts? Now, for the stage part and the talks, I didn't want to do a Zoom webinar. That conference call feeling I just thought was pretty lame. YouTube was an option. I felt like that was better for pre-recorded talks. Ultimately, I landed on Twitch. I feel like Twitch is the streaming platform for live performances, and it just seemed much more natural for where our talks should be. As for the connect part, how we were going to do that, I had a lot more trouble. I didn't want to choose Zoom, but ultimately it seemed like the most natural choice at the time. So our first attempt was a Twitch Zoom combination. Both of our speakers were totally down to do an online event. They completely brought it. Both were awesome. Here I am setting them both up. So I actually have the speakers on Zoom, taking that into OBS, broadcasting on Twitch, and I've got multiple monitors to kind of make sure everything's going all right. We had over 100 viewers at a time, 177 uniques. I would say overall it worked pretty well. After the talks, for the connection part, we used Zoom. Instead of just doing one meeting where everyone was coming in there, I didn't really want 30 people in the same Zoom where one or two people are talking and everyone else just staring into their webcam. So instead I created 4 different ones and gave them little nicknames. They all got their own short link URLs to redirect people to them. So the idea was you could start in the one that was nicknamed the stage, and that's where the speakers were, and you could do the Q&A. And then you could go, once you wanted to try something new, you could then go to the short link for the bar, and that's where some of the js.la organizers were hanging out. Or if you wanted a smaller conversational group, something a little bit more intimate, the lounge and the patio. So we had 4 of those. It didn't really work amazingly well, but it was fine. The Twitch part was great. I thought that was awesome. But for the Zoom part, I think it could have been a little bit better. Room for improvement. So for the second attempt, what I really wanted to do was fix it myself, right? I know JavaScript, I can build tools, products, services, really the world is my oyster. And so for this one, we did Twitch and Rambly. You might be asking, what is Rambly? So Rambly.app is just a web app. You go to it in your browser, it looks a little bit like this. You can create a room, you can choose an avatar. Once you select one, you can choose how it accesses your microphone. So this is an audio conference app, but in the form of a game. It's not really a game, there's no objective. You walk around and you can speak with your microphone, and if people are around you, they can hear you. If they're far away, you sound faint. So what this looks like after js.la is something like this. So each one of these people, it's a js.la attendee, and as you can see, there's different conversations going on at the same time. Unfortunately, I don't have audio for this, but the chat bubbles correspond to when people are talking. So you can see there are different simultaneous conversations going on at the same time, and people can more organically walk between them. Someone can say, oh, they were talking about Svelte over there, I'll walk over there. Or if they've been in a conversation group for a little too long, they might say, hey, it was great catching up, I'm gonna go walk around, see some other people, I will catch up with you later. This worked so much better. It was just much more natural. People could go in and out of different conversations, and the energy was so much better. It was definitely approaching what we have at in-person js.la events. Huge improvement, but something was still missing. So at a js.la, the talks, the conversations don't just happen at the end, right? When you are waiting for the event to start, or maybe in the intermission, you're talking to people about, hey, have you been to a js.la before? What are you working on? Or the intermission, like, that talk was awesome, I tried this. And those conversations are just way richer and more fulfilling. And just having Rambly at the end, I didn't feel like was the answer. So I modified Rambly in response to where I thought it needed to go. And so I actually built way to have Twitch inside of Rambly. So you could go into Rambly and watch Twitch in there alongside the other attendees. And so this is a little bit of what it looked like. So down in the bottom, again, sorry, no audio. Down in the bottom, you can see people are having, there's a group of people having a conversation. And then at a point in time when the stream starts, I show up on the screen wearing a cool hat. People realize that the show is starting, and so they wind down their conversations and they walk over to the screen, kind of like to get a good seat. Similar to the conversations, Twitch gets louder the closer you are to the screen, and so people move over there. Seeing this made me so happy because it really mirrored what happens at the live events. I don't have a video of it, but the same thing kind of happens in reverse. So after the first talk, people then get up and start walking around after the talk, and then they form conversation to say, hey, that was like really cool. What did you think of the talk? And then the conversations go from there, and it just worked so much better. I was thrilled. And so that type of iteration really paid off, being able to work on my own platform. And so if I just have one takeaway from this, is that things are really strange no matter how things get screwed up or different, and we approach this like new normal. We can adapt. Like, we have the power to build. We can build what is missing, the things that are going to make our lives better. For me, I could see how js.la moving to online could be improved, and through the power of JavaScript, which we all have, we can all use it. There are so many powerful tools and technologies available to us. We can make native apps and mobile apps and use machine learning with TensorFlow, and WebRTC is what I was using here, and the Web Audio API. There are so many cool things we can do, seriously. And so if there's one thing I can say, it's that I think we all have these things in our lives. There's all of this room for improvement, all of these missing things that we can build and help and make our friends and our community lives better. So I hope you take that to heart, and thanks. If you want to talk to me, David Gutman on Twitter. I'll be answering some Q&A in a minute. If you want to know how Rambly is built, you can go to Dryly. I've got a long write-up of how that game engine was done. It's really just with React. It's extremely vanilla aside from the React part. And of course, you can try Rambly yourself. It's open. You can create a room, have virtual happy hours or parties in there. And js.la is also now easier to get to than before. You don't have to come to LA. We are online. So thanks everyone, and I hope to talk to you soon.